is Don Tony. Don Tony is a compassionate human being.
If I was employed with TNA right now, I would say,
That's the way you dress your employees?
No, well, you gotta look at it like this.
Don Tony is a sportsman.
I fucking use it as a frisbee. I chucked it at the down the block the other day just for fun.
Don Tony is an articulate speaker.
Blah, 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 blah. Oh!
Don Tony is a food connoisseur.
When the McRib first came out, I had it. It was delicious. I ate like 5 of them, I remember, in like a 2-day span. The thing was that after a couple of weeks of the McRib, like the newness about it wore off. Wasn't as exciting anymore. And, and then I found myself, at McDonald's saying, give me a double quarter pounder with cheese. And I wasn't really into the McRib anymore.
So this year, when you go to the voting booth, think of a real American. Think Don Tony for presidency.
Blah, 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 blah.
So long, man. Have a good rest.
Fuck you! Help me! Taking maybe one step more. I really lost my little friend.
Like every Monday night, you are checking out Breakfast Super Raw.
Bon appetit, as Don, Tony, and Mish dish out their opinions about the world of pro wrestling, sports, news, and pop culture. Breakfast Super Raw.
And now, your host, Mish and Don Tony.
I can't laugh like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins forever. Rollins forever. Do you know today, 1 year ago today, October 25th, 2020, Ryan Satin did an interview with Big E, asking Big E, who does he really want to, go up against? And his choice was Seth Rollins. 1 year later, to the day, he now gets Seth Rollins as champion. It's going to be good. These two guys want to work with each other, and usually when you have two people that want to work with each other, good things happen. Psycho, I thought the pinned announcement right at the beginning of the chat room gave it away, but here's the deal, everybody. It is October 25th, 2021. This is the Don Tony Show edition of Breakfast Super Raw. Here's the truth. Little after 9 today, I got a DM from Mish. Sorry, DT, didn't tell you earlier. I can't come on tonight. No problem. I'm here. So I'll be doing this solo tonight. I have, and you know what's funny? If you remember last week, we talked about role reversal. Thank God I still prepared for the show like I normally would with notes, because believe me, not easy to be watching Raw, trying to pay attention to it, thinking that you don't have to do any notes today. You're going to sit back for a change. Thank God. Something always tells me, and look, man, there's going to be days that I'm going to take off, no question. But I always try to be prepared, because I got this mindset. You want to do something, you got to do it yourself. Or at least you got to be prepared to do it for yourself. But anyway, enough of that. Couple of things tonight. Tonight, we are going to pick live on the show the 3 winners of the Atom Bomb Micro Brawlers. We will do that in a few minutes. I won't make you wait, and you don't have to be live anymore to claim your prize. After that one we did like a month and a half ago, that was a disaster. we had to keep picking over and over and over again. And it was my fault because why should anybody have to stay up into the wee hours in the morning to get a little prize, right? So I will pick them live on this show in a few minutes. We keep it transparent. Too many people out there finagle their contests, not here. And speaking of Adam Bomb, Brian Clark, yes, I blocked the addresses. All you could see is my name and his name, but he sent me a surprise gift to yours truly and to Mish. He's tuning in tonight, by the way. Shout out to Brian Clark. I'm going to open this up and we'll see what's inside. We'll do that in a few minutes. And by the way, very, very cool. He sent me some photos of him in Albany, New York over the weekend. That's him hanging out with the Nature Boy. And that's him hanging out with Jeff Jarrett. And I'm telling you, man, I, for many years, had this dislike for Jeff Jarrett. Anybody who goes back to my shows covering TNA, you know that. That man fighting alcoholism and fighting the good fight and just learning more behind the scenes of Jeff Jarrett, man, I am rooting for that guy. What a decent human being. I mean, seriously, talk about a guy who's everybody battles. Everybody battles different. But he's like, 4 or 5 years sober now? So props. I mean, look, I'm a nobody. This will probably never get back to him. But if it does by any chance, believe me when I tell you, you got a plethora of people out there rooting for you. And once again, best wishes go out to Jim Ross. We talked about it on Saturday. He is dealing with skin cancer. Some people think, a little radiation, a little surgery, that clears it right up. No, I know somebody who died because of skin cancer. And I showed you that video about a little issue that I have right now. Because some people are like, you're making it about you. Fuck that. Anyway, how's everybody doing tonight? Raw season premiere. I mean, look, you know me over the last 2.5 years especially, I've really tried to look at things as the glass half full, not half empty. And, I'm not going to complain about every little thing that floats around. I'm not going to complain that, Liv Morgan gets reintroduced to TV and she loses a BS match to Carmella. Now everybody thinks, Liv Morgan's going to be buried. Please, man. Seriously. Of course we disagree with a lot of the decisions, but understand something. You're not going to be able to turn WWE into AEW. No matter how hard you try, you ain't stop. That's an old rap song. No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now. What was it, Renegades of Funk, right? I'm old. But no matter how much people online try to think that the formula of AEW would work in WWE, that is just asinine stupid. And speaking of asinine stupid, I got to give props to everyone out there that is starting to see the exaggerated bullshit that is floating around about Charlotte Flair right now. Is Charlotte completely innocent in her ways? No, of course not. But here's a case because they know nobody in WWE management is going to come public and say you're a liar. That's false. Charlotte, of course, will deny things because why not? She's sticking up for herself. But these people out there, Sonya Deville, I'm so mad. I could fight. And why didn't you? I'm so mad right now. I could fight. I'm so mad right now. I could fight. I don't think you heard that. Just think about this stupidity. The locker room that Charlotte Flair, what were the words that people use? She's isolated. She is difficult. She has nuclear heat. This is social media, the fringe element that despise Charlotte Flair, period. That take this and they try to twist it and put it on steroids to make Charlotte Flair like the most, outrageous, terrible, selfish performer. And the funny thing is, for some of those people out there, if she showed up in AEW tomorrow, You know, there's something that I wrote earlier today, and I guess by default we could just comment quickly about Charlotte. Now, my recommendation to all of you out there, if you have not tuned into my show on Saturday, we got into this in detail. And I'm not bragging about it, but if you listen back to everything I said, every little bit of it is true. Because I don't want to be first. I want to be right. And I took 2 days, Friday and Saturday, and I just sifted through the BS, contacted some people that I know, tried to understand this. Do I have people who are close friends to Charlotte that text her, hey, what's going on? No. But you think these people online, these unnamed sources that can't seem to get any breaking news, but Charlotte, you know, not even an hour after SmackDown goes off the air, all these people, they text everybody in the locker room, hey, we're running a poll right now. We're trying to figure out if the locker room is behind Charlotte or behind Becky. You vote. Click. You start breaking this stuff down. It's BS. And a lot of places tonight, I give them credit because they're starting to smell the bullshit too. A little bit too much detailed stuff. You know, things supposedly leak out. Charlotte Flair, whether people like it or not. Shout out to Chris Silver, the $5 super chat. Since we're on the topic of Charlotte Flair and what happened with SmackDown, do I think Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 38 is a good idea or a bad idea? I think it is an excellent idea. I think Brock Lesnar, and we forgot to talk about this Saturday, I think Brock Lesnar may be suspended until the Royal Rumble. And I think maybe Brock Lesnar wins the Royal Rumble, takes on Roman Reigns, and may beat him at WrestleMania if The Rock does not take part. And I don't think The Rock will. I think they'll save that for Hollywood. But thank you for that. Hey, trust me, a good question like that, definitely worth talking about for a moment. But, you know, look, Rams fan just brought up CM Punk. CM Punk, let's be honest. Even though Eric Bischoff right now says that CM Punk basically is taking a big wet fart, that he is now in AEW, and the ratings are really not impressive at all with him in there. Well, I disagree with Eric Bischoff there. I think that is AEW's fault for not putting him in an emotional, deep storyline. You know, like suddenly he's attacked by Team Taz, and he goes through Hobbs, and then it disappears. And then for some reason, he rescues Anthony Green, you know. And then I guess CM Punk went for ice cream because Jungle Boy gets destroyed by the Elite. CM Punk just randomly has a bone to pick with 45-year-old Bobby Fish. It's all over the place, man. But AEW is like an indie wrestling event. You go, you enjoy, you go home happy until the next event. It's not, you know, deep thinking. Yes, there are a couple of storylines, but when you get really emotionally invested in a feud, that feud is everything. And, you know, just randomly coming out there, you know, it's like Chris Statlander comes to the aid of this person, and then Red Velvet comes to the aid of this person, and then for some reason they have an alliance until they don't. And it's, so, but anyway, here's my point. What this has to do with Charlotte Flair. CM Punk, whether you all like him or not, whether you all think he is a very important asset to AEW or not, there's no denying in the last 20 years, CM Punk is up there as far as some of the top stars that has performed. One of the greatest wrestlers in the last 15 years. He debuted in ECW in 2006. Summer of Punk, Ring of Honor. Yeah, we go back 15 years. I would say in the last 15 years, CM Punk has got to be in the top 10. All right? My point is, was CM Punk ever a locker room leader? Was CM Punk very well liked in the back? Was CM Punk a big-time team player? Or CM Punk more about himself? Worrying about himself, his position, his role, his future. You know, when you are the number one female in wrestling of this generation, and I have said that before, I think Charlotte Flair is the number one female wrestler of this generation, last 20 years at least. And trust me, Oscar is up there and a few others. I'm not denying it. Mickey James is up there, a lot of them. You know, Gail Kim is up there. There's no question. And you got stars of today that are kicking ass too. But for me, Charlotte Flair is number one. When you are at the top of the mountain, thus comes the jealousy. Thus comes the bitterness. Thus also comes the clout. And when let's be honest, look at Charlotte Flair's body. I mean, the closest people could do to make fun of her right now is to try to say her face looks like Cher. I got news for you. Cher 30 years ago, a lot of people used to get their jollies off of. So Charlotte is at the top of the list. And yes, when you are the elite of the elite, you don't think that some people in AEW may have a little bit extra clout and maybe a little bit more consumed about themselves and their well-being than others? You don't think that happened in the Hulkamania era, in the NWA era, in AWA? Come on, MLW. Seriously, maybe not on that level. The point is, usually the biggest stars of them all, there is a little bit of clout, jealousy, bitterness. You have earned that position. You know, why do you think these rich bitches in Hollywood and everywhere else, they make millions and millions of dollars? And what do? They build houses and they'll block themselves off of society and they'll do this and that. And they may, and you may feel that it's however you feel, it doesn't matter. And Charlotte Flair, when you are at that level, you got to worry about number one. Charlotte Flair wanted to lose to Bianca Belair last week on Raw. Notice how nobody really talks about that? No, because that's not drama. It used to be an old saying, save the drama for your mama. Now it's the opposite. Charlotte Flair does not injure anybody in the ring. Of course, when someone is at the top of their game, look at Steve Austin. I'll never forget that Steve Austin promo when he went to ECW in 1995. Give this German kid 6 good minutes. Let everybody see what he can do. And of course, it was a promo, but Steve Austin talking about being disgruntled in WCW, not being utilized, right? Being wasted on other people. Why? Because he felt that he was much higher than that. Why should he have to go to that level and make a 18-year-old German kid look like a superstar? Just because you don't like someone doesn't mean that there's anything different behind it. Charlotte Flair doesn't like the idea. Now, I said this on Saturday. Charlotte Flair, whether she likes everything or she doesn't, once the cameras are rolling, you got to go with the flow, man. And you can't start improvising and starting to make people look like shit out there. Because the problem is, Becky Lynch is a professional. Sasha Banks is a professional. Sonya Deville is a professional. Charlotte Flair is a professional too. But if Charlotte Flair so disgruntled that this storyline on Friday is going to make it look like garbage, you can't just start being lackadaisical about it, because how is Becky Lynch supposed to react to it? Becky Lynch is trusting Charlotte. Whether they like it or not, she's trusting Charlotte to do what she's supposed to do in that segment. Same thing with Sasha Banks. So the thing is, when the cameras are rolling, you got to be a pro, no matter what. But because people really don't like Charlotte Flair, and that's been obvious for years now, they see blood in the water now. Oh, people are trying to convince Charlotte to get out of her deal. You really think that? You really think that there's people out there that are that close to Charlotte Flair? And you know who that person may be? Andrade. Charlotte. Ashley. Come to AEW. Come to AEW. All elite. You don't think Andrade is Fuck WWE. He did that in a tweet on set. That's common sense. If you were married or engaged or dating someone that you cared for and loved, and you felt that the employer of your fiance is treating her like shit, what do you think he's going to say? Oh, you got to listen to them, honey. I don't care how bad they treat you. They're signing your paycheck. You sit back and you take it. You take it like a woman. No. You'd be like, fuck these people. These people online doing that, they're reading common sense and they're trying to make it, our sources tell us that people close the show trying to get her out. Get the fuck out of here. So many people out there see blood in the water. Oh, I can't. Like Sonya Deville's now Popeye. I can't stand it no more. I'm so angry I could fight. Does it sound like an Indian accent for Andrade? I don't know. I don't talk Andrade. So, idolo. So look, the bottom line is what we said on Saturday. I told you Saturday we're going to replay SmackDown and do all the edits. Today it was big news. I don't know why. I mean, we knew on Saturday we were editing that stuff out. But they escorted her out of the building to avoid any confrontations. Look, leave, let everybody cool off. Tomorrow's another day. That's what happened. It's not dramatic. When she walked out, there wasn't like the wrestlers were all in the corner going boo or barking like dogs. It doesn't work that way. The title being dropped, she swears it was not intentional. Now, how are we ever going to believe that? You're going to hook her up to a lie detector test? Me, honestly, I think she dropped it accidentally. I really do. But, when you really don't act like you don't care, you're really not into something, and how many times have you had something in your house and clean this up, and you act like, you don't really care, and you pick it up lackadaisical, and then you accidentally drop something and it breaks. Did I do that? So that's what happens when you don't put all your heart and soul into it. Your mind starts to wander. You're not focusing. Things seem irrelevant, and then that's where trouble starts. But that's all that happened. Period. Nothing else. Tomorrow you'll hear some more dumb shit come out of this. So, we got Charlotte stuff out of the way. Chris Silva, I didn't forget about your other super chat, my friend. Liam Savage, thanks for replying to his DM about the Edge video posted. Thank you for the cup of coffee, my friend. For those that don't know, have any of you out there seen over the weekend a video clip of Edge as an 18-year-old kid sitting in an audience and Bret Hart was on a talk show? And Edge said, oh my God, I thought that video never existed. Anyone have the full episode? Liam Savage, good friend of the family, always hangs out with you all in the chat room. He's the one that originally posted that. And everybody grabbed it from him, re-clipped it, reposted it as for themselves. But Liam Savage is the one that originally had that clip in his video collection. So big shout out to him. So, it's funny. You see, without naming names, you see some news journalists out there that if you copy their news and you don't give them 100% full credit, they will whine on social media, thanks for not giving me fucking credit. But yet they steal clips from other people and they don't say a goddamn word. They don't give credit to anybody. Now, me, honestly, whenever I report something specifically, I give the credit for the person. I don't care, but there's some very two-faced people out there. Oh, by the way, I don't want to get too far into this. I don't want to jump 2 steps ahead. But last Monday, right at the end of the show, I closed out giving you a little announcement that last week I told you that I was supposed to have a big interview about something with the shows that might be a big advancement in the shows here, meeting with a network. Well, that video conference went down this past Friday. Talked for about 40 minutes, thought it went well, and wondered, Okay, what's going to happen? Well, I got a DM over the weekend that the person that met with me really enjoyed our conversation. And the last words were, they are very excited for our future and they're going to offer a contract. I don't want to go any further than that, but the reason why I'm mentioning it here is because I've been doing this almost 25 years, and without a doubt, this will be the biggest jump as far as what I do, because I will be on a network with only maybe 5 or 6 other shows in the wrestling world. One is always featured on WWE television, and all the others have blue check marks. So it just so happens that one of the bigwigs there is a big fan of my work for the last couple of years. And I always tell everyone out there that whether you have 10 viewers or 10,000 viewers, you know, somebody, you never know who is watching or listening. And hard work does pay off. It really does. Now, I will tell you that going forward, and I've said this many times before, and I feel like I've let people down, and I know some of you out there also love the long shows. But starting tonight, I'm making a very concerted effort to keeping these shows around 90 minutes or less. No joke. I know we said it even last week, but now after this meeting Friday, the goal is to do a show almost every day, but having them shorter. So that is all I could say right now. I can't say who it is and where it is until things are signed on a dotted line, but it's a very big deal. The good thing is the shows won't change. You know, they might be shorter. I might format it a little bit tighter because it is a big step. I mean, I can't just, stay like this. But, yeah, this is something that honestly was well worth the wait. Well worth the wait. So we'll see what happens. All right. So now we talked about Charlotte, and I'm doing timestamps today, so I'm going to be doing timestamps from now on all the time. Raw tonight. Season premiere of Raw. Not a bad show. Again, I think people out there refuse to accept the fact that they're not just performing for social media. They're not just performing for us at home. They're performing for a live audience there. And the revenue that comes in from that live audience is a nice chunk of change. And they want to get more people in those buildings. Now, sure, Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, the Dirty Dogs, when you look at the overall scheme of things, probably not favorites to have tag titles anytime soon. But as far as going to a live event for the fans there, Rated RK Bro, RK Bro taking on a tag team tonight, and they weren't going to do AJ Styles and Omos. I don't know the exact reason why AJ was not able to perform. But the thing is, for that live crowd, we just had the Street Profits come to Raw. Take your time. When it's good guys versus bad guys, it's either Alpha Academy or Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. And guess what? Randy Orton has great chemistry with both of those guys especially. So even though for all of us at home, we're like, wow, you can't give a little rub for Alpha Academy. Well, no, it's not going to happen the way that we want. They got to try to please everybody. In the end, RK Bro was getting the win. So who best to get the win from? Alpha Academy, where people feel, they just went to Raw and they're already being buried? That's what they said about Liv Morgan tonight. Oh, Liv Morgan, she's back. She's getting a little bit, and look, she's already being buried. You put Alpha Academy in that spot, they would have said the very same thing. But Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode held tag titles last year. So, they're not, like over the hill. They're not, it's just that a lot of people out there are just not interested in seeing Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler as a tag team. So when they see them fighting, they're like, We just had to deal with them versus Big E and Drew McIntyre. Now we're going to, get used to it. Get used to it. Why do you think the Mysterios had so many matches with them? They work well in the ring. It's not meant, for the moment. It's to get through another week. It's to fill time. That's why technically I had 2 matches tonight. It's to fill time. I like Alpha Academy. And Alpha Academy, I think, will ultimately get tag titles. I really do. I mean, unless they turn Otis babyface, I really think Alpha Academy will do something. But it's not going to be done simply because a small voice on social media has got a bitch about any, it's the season premiere and look what they're doing. They're giving us the same shit again. Well, yeah, it's episodic television. Things continue. Even though it's a new season, things still continue. You watch TV shows and it enters in another season. A lot of times the season picks up where the last season left off. So I didn't think Raw tonight was bad. I actually thought it was a decent show. Raw's never going to be pay-per-view quality unless there's some major theme to it or there's some major thing going down that they really want to get a lot more eyes to it. It's not going to be pay-per-view quality. AEW, people are really blown away this week that Rampage's rating was as low as it was. And remember this. Last week, everything was about, SmackDown versus Rampage, SmackDown and FS1. Well, we had playoffs, baseball playoffs. And even, take note of this. Take notice because a lot of places aren't going to bring this up this week. Rampage went down slightly. I'm still not worried. I said 550 to 750. That's going to be the range. I said that before episode 1. It's just that these people out there are trying to make it seem 10 times bigger than what it is. And now it's starting to settle into the numbers, and they got to blame it on everything. SmackDown's ratings, of course, they went up from last week because it was on FS1 last week. SmackDown's rating went up 160%. But the point is, SmackDown did 2.2 million and change. Better than some recent weeks. And guess what? There was playoffs. So what does that tell you? I mean, even against playoffs, the ratings went up. Now, yes, that was because of Crown Jewel. But you know what that tells you? Is that wrestling fans, if the show is solid enough or interests them enough, they will watch wrestling over baseball. They'll watch wrestling over the NBA. They'll watch wrestling over TV shows. They'll watch wrestling over political stuff. They'll watch wrestling over tragedies. It's just when it comes down to what I used to say in 1997, at the end of the day, when ratings are not good, whether it's wrestling or baseball, or Survivor or movies or whatever it is, Grammys, what it says is that on that night, people chose to watch or do something else than see your show. Period. That's all it is. How could SmackDown's rating go up from previous weeks? Forget the FS1 stuff. Fans wanted to see it more than baseball and other things. Whatever draws your interest, that's what you're going to tune into. So I will never, ever blame that, I didn't get the numbers because this person was on too, or this part. Now, sure, when I know that a lot of you out there tune into multiple shows, I try to offer something a little bit different. And that's why we're really not focusing on recaps like we used to. We'll do the overall scope, but we'll do that for pay-per-views because everybody and their mother right now is doing detailed Raw recaps. Why? You saw it for 3 hours. Why should we spend another 90 minutes talking about a show that we all just saw? I mean, we know what's going down. Seth Rollins is going to be the next person to take on Big E. Now, remember, it's not happening at Survivor Series. Survivor Series is champion versus champion. In fact, let me give it to you right now. The current Survivor Series card, as it stands, because remember, as I tell you this, think about Nia Jax versus Charlotte for a minute. Remember, Charlotte had that match with Nia Jax, and people thought they were shooting in the ring. What happened? They had a rematch the following week. And what did people say after that? Oh, they did that to create a buzz, create friction. Oh my God, what are they going to do next week? Can they coexist? All right. As it stands right now, Charlotte Flair is facing Becky Lynch at Survivor Series. Now, on Saturday, I said it would not surprise me if Sasha Banks beats Charlotte before Survivor Series. But if that match still goes down at Survivor Series, I want you to think about this weekend. I want you to think about all of this tension and how people are trying to overly hype it and make it into some, thing that, Charlotte has to be suspended, fired, everything else. And if those two end up having a match at Survivor Series, Survivor Series, I remember Saturday saying that when Charlotte dropped the title and then Becky Lynch threw hers at Charlotte, do you remember what I compared it to Saturday? When Bret Hart threw the belt to Shawn Michaels and gave him the finger and walked out. Now, sure, they're not going to do that on WWE television in 2021, let alone the women. But, Survivor Series, Bret, Shawn, Becky, Charlotte, do I think a screw job is in the works? No. But I'm just saying that if those two end up having the match at Survivor Series, I guarantee a lot of people are going to go back to today and say, I wonder how much of that was really legit and they were just trying to hype the shit up for this pay-per-view. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Thank you for all the feedback. So also scheduled for Survivor Series as of now, Roman Reigns versus Big E, Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch, RK Bro versus the Usos, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown 5-on-5 elimination match. They'll do one for the men, one for the women. Damian Priest versus Shinsuke Nakamura, even though as I said Saturday, I feel bad for saying this. I almost want to wash my mouth out with Listerine right now. I think King Corbin will have gold before Survivor Series. I think we may end up getting Damian Priest versus King Corbin at Survivor Series. So, any titles? Benjamin's asking me, do I think the Charlotte stuff could be a work? I don't think all of it is. No, I think some of it is legit. Look, WWE's not going to do a absolutely horrendously shitty storyline trading belts just to make it work. I mean, shitty storylines are shitty storylines. If I was Charlotte, if I was Becky, I would be a little annoyed at it as well. I would get annoyed as well. Now, let me also make something clear. Zelina Vega being Queen Vega has nothing to do with trying to show up Charlotte, but she's the queen. Now they're doing Queen Zelina. That's a shot at Charlotte. Oh my God, could they have, did they ever have two kings? Oh yeah, well, we had King of the Ring, the King of Kings, Jared King Lawler, King Mabel. Come on, man. These are people that just don't use their brains. You think Zelina, with all due respect, Zelina Vega, I'm not kidding. This bad prop, but this is the scepter. Honestly, I just hit myself harder than Zelina Vega hit Doudrop today with the scepter. You're going to tell me that WWE is trying to make Zelina the new queen of WWE? Get the fuck out of here. Seriously, these are people that want to see friction. These are the same people that like to see people having real life heat with each other. These are the same people that get entertained when they see bad things happen to all of you or you fight with each other. What do? They post that meme of Big E with the popcorn. You know which one I'm talking about. People start getting into a little bit of a war online. Instead of trying to calm things down, you get the popcorn. Thank you for that super chat. Sorry it won't pop up, though. But thank you. Thank you. So I do think it's based on some reality, but WWE capitalizes off that shit. Seriously. I mean, just think about the Four Horsewomen. I mean, sure, Charlotte is, gone a lot higher since the original Four Horsewomen. But, all these women in some capacity. I mean, a lot of you out there like Sasha Banks a lot more than Charlotte Flair. Well, Sasha Banks wasn't too thrilled about the women's tag team division. Now, do I think in hindsight that she went home and started rolling around a rug, crying? Remember the rug incident? No. But Sasha Banks wasn't too thrilled about storylines either. I mean, some people just chose to look the other way. So some of it is real, Benjamin. Some of it is just inflated, and some of it is wishful thinking on a lot of people online. They want to see turmoil. So, anyway, other match results from Raw tonight. Opening match was a tag team triple threat. It was the Dirty Dogs versus Alpha Academy versus Street Profits. The winner of that match takes on RK Bro later on in the night. As we said, Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler won that match. They did a coronation of Zelina Vega, and she ends up taking Doudrop again and defeats her in very, very horrible scepter shot. SRH John, too bad we still don't know who threw the pie in Kevin Owens' face. I know. And when watching Finn Balor towards the end of the match tonight holding his ankle, I mean, he fell off the top rope. He's holding his ankle. The funny thing is, and you know me, I've said this 1 trillion times, not every single person wants to work in AEW. Some people like to be more in the entertainment aspect of wrestling, actresses, actors. Some people like to have a storyline build for 2-3 months. But I got to tell you, if you look at the very end of Raw tonight when Finn Balor got knocked on his ass with the curb stomp, you look at his face up close, and I just looked at it and I said to myself, he was probably saying at that very moment, if this was AEW right now, I would not be laying here like a goof. The look on his face was hilarious. I mean, he just looked unconscious. But it was just in a very, very comedic. I guarantee you people are going to draw some memes for that tonight. So, oh, by the way, we're doing 2 new giveaways tonight. For all you fans of Liv Morgan and Jon Moxley, stay tuned. We will be doing that in about 5-10 minutes. Like I said, we're not going to wait till the end of the shows anymore. It's not fair to everybody out there. Balor sold like $1 million. Sold it like $1 million. Damian Priest over T-Bar by DQ. Damian Priest has new entrance music. I like it. I absolutely like it. Nothing against the arrow thing. I don't like, I like the music today. I'm not thrilled yet about Sami Zayn changing his music, but Damian Priest's music I like today. But the match, I don't know, man. T-Bar gets disqualified. He throws the chair at Damian Priest, and Damian Priest kind of flips out at the end. 3 minutes of waste, in my opinion. 3 minutes of waste. Carmella over Liv Morgan. Another 3 minutes of waste. Carmella wrestling with the mask again. By the way, congratulations. Congratulations. Gives me a good reason to segue into a timestamp. Carmella and Corey Graves are, in fact, engaged. And look, before anybody out there tries to hit me with this homebreaker stuff, look, I think somebody asked me this on Patreon last week. Who's bigger homebreaker? JoJo, Carmella, or Karen Angle? Look, I don't condone infidelity, period. I wouldn't want anybody to cheat on me, and I wouldn't cheat on someone else. But the thing is that, it takes two to tango. So, even though a marriage may have been broken up or a relationship may have been broken up between two people, both sides are to blame. Not just because one side seems awfully tempting. So I don't call, anybody home wreckers. if that's what people are going to ask me. But congrats. Congrats. They're engaged. Just don't choose September 3rd, 2022. That's all I ask. Oh, another little thing today. Dancing with the Stars. Can you believe Miz is still in this thing? Freaking Miz is still in with Dancing with the Stars. Tonight they did Horror Night. And the Miz did Pinhead. I'm telling you, man, I am so happy that I have been publicly a supporter of Miz for many years now. I mean, his TV show is one of those rare, reality, quote unquote, shows that I'll watch a little bit. The guy is taking this so freaking seriously. And I heard that he nailed it tonight again. He nailed it again. I'm telling you, he is freaking killing it. It's going to be hard, to bring him back as a heel. I mean, the guy is freaking killing it. I just wish that WWE would acknowledge it a little bit more on television. I mean, little mentions here and there, but props to the Miz. Freaking props to the Miz. No doubt. What else do we have here? Oh, Bearcat Lee over Cedric. Now, by the way, if you want to check it out, and I recommend that you do, Ryan Satin interviewed Keith Lee. Keith Lee gets into the Bearcat character quite a bit. Anybody out there that was really, really annoyed at it, I think after you're watching this interview, I think you'll have a different view on it. It's a challenge for Keith Lee, and Keith Lee, looks at it more in the football sense than anything else. Got to listen to the interview. I couldn't, win anybody over by just explaining. Listen to him and watch his words, watch his views, his reactions. Look at his eyes. I mean, the guy, I'm just glad that he's back on TV. And more importantly, thank God that this guy is a lot healthier. I brought this up a while back. He came back and he was doing some dark matches. And people were still like, oh, they're not bringing him on TV. Well, no shit. Because health-wise, he still, there were concerns. He had to build up stamina. He had to get a lot of matches under his belt before they were going to reintroduce him to TV. I mean, why would you reintroduce someone and then they have to take almost immediate time off again because they're not 100% ready? So now they feel that he can dominate. And by him having the match he had tonight with Cedric, sure, a lot of people didn't like that Cedric was the one that lost. But Keith Lee needs to have quick matches right now because that kind of helps him also. Not having to stay out there for 10, 15 minutes at a pop. So good for him. Good for him. Austin Theory over Dominik Mysterio. And this was funny because they were in the back and Ray and Dominik are on good terms again. Drop storyline that I wish would have went further. And Austin Theory is like, do you know where the towels are? So random. And Austin Theory wants to take a selfie. But he doesn't want Dominik in the picture. He just wants Ray in the picture with Austin Theory. So he says to Dominik, he's like, how's about you take the selfie? And Dominik with a fucking horribly fed line that was horribly executed. I am not a photographer. And this is not your locker room. Well, how's about I beat you in the ring? Well, how's about it? The match was okay. But Austin Theory obviously is going to be the one getting the victories more than not right now. And that's what happened. He beat Dominik Mysterio in the ring. But that backstage stuff, the Randy Orton, Riddle, back and forth again. Now that because we're in the horror season, Riddle's bringing up, like the two girls from The Shining. Oh. By the way, for my Patreon family, tonight, as soon as I'm done with this show, we're going to put up the finals for the horror film tournament. We started with, 48 horror films, and tonight we'll be down to 2. And will The Shining be one of the 2? No, Xander, I don't think Austin Theory's doing a legend killer gimmick at all. He's more of just, He's a young star, and he wants to, embarrass, like some of the older stars, taking selfies, mocking them, doing the things that he does. But, Austin Theory took on Dominik tonight. Austin Theory will probably take on Ray next. Austin Theory will take on a combination of young guys and new guys. No, it's not a legend killer thing. It's just Austin Theory is the future, and he feels that some people are the past. It's not, it's not on the level of legend killer. It's more of like legend embarrasser, because Austin Theory doesn't want to kill those legends. He just wants to embarrass them. Austin Theory would love to face them over and over and over again and beat them over and over and over again. So, what else we got tonight? RK Bro over the Dirty Dogs. Fun match, and again, the crowd was into it. That's what matters. There's got to be a blend. It can't be for social media to pop, oh, they put the right person in the match tonight, and everybody in the arena's got their hands on their ass. So, Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, whether people like it or not, they are somewhat entertaining. They do come off good as heels, and the fans like the interaction. Having Omos, coming out earlier and influence the three-way tag match, I think it was just something just to, try to make it look more like a clusterfuck than anything else. The ladder match, Seth Rollins, which I think a lot of people expected. Seth Rollins beating Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Rey Mysterio, and will now get a future title shot against Big E. Not at Survivor Series. Remember, not at Survivor Series. It'll probably happen, I would say, in 2 weeks. I doubt it would be next week. But, excellent ladder match. Started very early. I honestly was wondering if we were going to get some, not swerve, but something extra at the very end. And yes, they had to stare down and everything, and Rollins wants the title back. But the match was phenomenal. I mean, Kevin Owens took a beating. Rey Mysterio going through that table. It was one of the lightest table spots I've seen in a very long time. It just almost looked like it was padded. It just broke so perfectly. And I've gone through tables, and believe me, I tell you, you fall, they don't hurt all that much, especially when you tuck your head in. But, man, when Kevin Owens took that dive, he was dumped over the rope by Seth Rollins onto a bunch of ladders. I mean, Kevin Owens is just special player, man. I know a lot of people are insisting that he's going to go to AEW, after this contract. Could very well happen. If Kevin Owens wants to dial back a little bit, have more of a part-time schedule, and to be able to stay home more with his family, I could see it for that reason, but not because WWE sucks. I think Kevin Owens, as his, kids are getting older and he's getting older, he's got to start dialing it back a little bit. I mean, the fact that he's still going so physical like he is, I mean, how many years can you still do that? So, but that match was a lot of fun tonight. Gordon is asking me, can I see them having Rollins beat Big E to set up a Reigns-Rollins match for Survivor Series? No. Big E, look, you go back to Raw tonight. Seriously, you go back to Raw tonight. And I even put some notes up. Big E's the one that opened up Raw tonight. And Seth Rollins interrupted him. Seth Rollins wanted a title shot. And Big E basically, and I invite you, if you think I'm exaggerating, go back and watch it. Big E basically told Rollins that you lost to Edge at Crown Jewel. You go to the back of the line. I know WWE still likes to pipe in a lot of crowd reaction, but I don't know if WWE was prepared to hear that many boos when Big E told Seth Rollins, go to the back of the line. You didn't pick up on that, or if you didn't pay attention, or maybe you just weren't watching at that moment, go back and watch it. I think you'll be a little bit surprised. Just because Big E takes on Drew McIntyre, teams up with Drew McIntyre, is a member of the New Day for so many years, doesn't mean instant, major, over, unbelievable babyface heavyweight champion. It's a little weird sometimes how Big E is received. It's a little strange. I even think it's a little strange. But you don't rectify that by taking the title off of him this quickly. If it was an absolute disaster dud, then I would say otherwise. So, yeah, Ben, I can't focus on mods while I'm doing the show right now, but yeah, we can soon. So Seth Rollins, wins the ladder match. Everybody took some pretty vicious bumps. Seth was a little, they were a little bit more easy on Seth after just having the Hell in a Cell with Edge. And if you haven't checked out my review of Crown Jewel yet, do. I think you'll really enjoy it. So, by the way, a little bit later, I'm going to give you my predictions for NXT Halloween Havoc. It's only 4 matches. Actually, 5, if you want to include the debut of the Usos, his brother, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and the mystery person. And I tell you, up until tonight, 5 minutes before we went live, I had a totally different idea who the mystery person was going to be. But someone sent me like a little photo montage of the 3 vignettes spliced together. And now I got a much different view on who that might be. In fact, I think the mystery person that they're teasing might be a woman. I'll show you why in a little bit. So, all right. Now, earlier, since we were talking about Big E and Heavyweight Championship, and no, you do not take the title off of him this quickly. Chris Silva, thank you for this super chat. Would I'd like to see Big E versus Goldberg or Big E versus Edge at WrestleMania? Definitely not Goldberg. I said it even Thursday. I don't mind Goldberg 2-3 times out of the year. And I give Goldberg credit. He did a decent job on Thursday. But Goldberg in no way, shape, or form should ever have a heavyweight title again, in my opinion. I don't think Big E, put it this way, I know for Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, beating Goldberg is something they could cut in a promo down the line. And yes, we could very well see Big E versus Goldberg at some point in some match somewhere. But at WrestleMania, oh no. I do not want Goldberg in that high profile of a match. So, but Edge, I said this on Thursday also. I think Edge, if he works a little bit more consistently on TV, I think Edge could be a heavyweight champion again. I really believe that a lot of you out there would not have an issue with Edge being a heavyweight champion again. He has definitely shown that he can go at a top level, and it's not nostalgia. Sure, it's nostalgia because we remember his career, but man, guy is killing it. He's killing it. And by the way, again, what a wonderful tribute that he gave to Jessica Clark, referee Jesse. If you haven't seen it yet, go check out my Saturday show. There's a timestamp. You could go read it. It's pretty cool. So anyway, but thank you very much for that super chat, my friend. So now let's do this. Let's pick the winners for the Atom Bomb Micro Brawlers. Now, if you remember the last show, all you had to do is in your comments, you had to just include in your comments hashtag Atom Bomb. And what I am going to do live right now on this show is I am actually going to pull up, and just to show you that I am 100% transparent about this, I'm going to pull this up right now. And if you look at my mouse, look, I'm doing an O. If you look here, I'm going to highlight this. You could see this is all legit. Look, I'm even going to write F-U. You could see that with my mouse. So I am live right now. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this section on the screen. And again, you don't have to be live, but you have to claim your prize by next Monday. If you don't claim it by next Monday, all you got to do is DM me on Twitter at DonTonyD. Email me, dontony@dontony.com. If you're a channel member on YouTube, you could just post a comment in the channel member section. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pick 3 winners. And Again, you had to use hashtag Adam Bomb. So we're going to write this in here. Hashtag Adam Bomb. So now when I hit pick a winner, it's going to randomly go through the comments from the last show that had this hashtag in there, and we'll pick 3 winners. Now, if it picks the same person twice, you do not win twice. It's going to be 3 different winners. So, congratulations to KD. Shake it up. KD, congrats. You are a winner. One more. Congrats. JR Bloom. I'm happy because JR Bloom won a prize not too long ago, but I was doing that thing where you had to be live to claim it. He wasn't live, so he didn't get it. So JR Bloom, it comes back. You won. Good for you. And JL, I know we follow each other on Twitter, so you can DM me. And the third person, Lee Madden. Thank you for the kind words, my friend. So those 3 are your winners. Congrats. Congrats. So now we could take this off the screen. And we could go back here. So what are you talking? Darren's like 3 people he never heard of. 2 of them are always in the chat. JL is always in the chat. What are you talking about? So anyway, all right, new contest. Might as well get into it right now. And you know what's funny? I guarantee you what I'm about to show you, a lot of you out there are going to be like, I had no freaking idea that this even existed. It's not a big deal, but I think you'll get a kick out of it, and I definitely want to put a timestamp for this. Okay. Jon Moxley has an autobiography coming out. It will be out in about a week. This is the book. Very easy. It's called Mox. Mox. It is a biography. He actually wrote it himself. It is on Amazon right now for pre-order. And I think it's going for about $25. The book company is sending me a half a dozen. So tonight, we're going to give away 2 books. We have 2 contests. Not just this. We have a Liv Morgan contest coming up as well. So how Benjamin, I know, I hear you. He's like biography, but he's still alive. Well, first of all, you can't write an autobiography if you're dead. I mean, yes, you could write it before you die, but the point is, I know Jon Moxley still has a lot more in his career. But this is basically him coming up. I think he was in Cincinnati, him coming up, going through, the hardcore scene, his idols in Japan, going into WWE. And yes, I'm very generalizing it, but it's basically from Mox up to now. It's up to now. And there's no reason why he can't write an additional book. Look, man, the fact that Jon Moxley wrote a book, I think that is going to be a fascinating read. I want him to do an Audible. I would love to just sit back and listen. Oh, and by the way, if you hear some crazy ass rain in the background, no joke. If you think I'm exaggerating, Google it right now. My area, we're in the midst of a nor'easter. So I'm a little bit worried that we might have some internet outages tonight. So even more of a reason why I want this done in 90 minutes, because we got some horrible weather tonight. So if we get cut off, trust me, I didn't just say, fuck it, disconnected. No, we might have some issues with internet. But I think Moxley, with his style and the way he talks, I think this is going to be a fascinating read. He wrote it himself. So we're going to give away 2 books tonight. All you have to do, and yes, you could participate in the other contest we're about to do also. All you have to do is in the comment section after the show is over, you can do it any time during this week. You have to include the hashtag Mox. See it? Hashtag MOX, hashtag Mox. So you could write whatever you want. You could talk about tonight's Raw, Charlotte, me, Mish, whatever. But make sure you put hashtag Mox, because that's the only way that you will be entered for next week's drawing. And I will pick the winners live like we did tonight randomly. So that will be two books there. Now, I figured since Liv Morgan gets a lot of love online, I figured, let's also do a little Liv Morgan contest as well. So that's too small. That's kind of big. Yeah, you could see it. As a autographed Liv Morgan photo. There you go. So if you want to participate in the contest, no purchase necessary, obviously, and you want to get a chance to win that autographed photo of Liv Morgan next week. Now, one thing, don't try to hit two birds with one stone. You can't put hashtag Mox and hashtag Liv in the same comment. Post two different comments, that's fine. You could enter both contests, but if you want to enter this contest next week, post a comment between now and next week, and also in your comment, put hashtag Liv. So next week we will pick a winner. And trust me, if Mandy Rose wins the championship tomorrow over Raquel Gonzalez, then I think Wednesday I will be giving away some Mandy Rose memorabilia. I'm trying to get my hands on a Toxic Attraction signed photo autographed by all three. They have done some promo photos. They haven't been circulated yet, but believe me, I tell you, one of the persons that I trade and do some business with too, he has direct contact with WWE. And just so people know, what sometimes happens is when WWE, especially when they come to the Northeast, they will make arrangements where a wrestler will go to a hotel room and they will just be in a hotel and they will just sign autographs for about 3 hours. None of this virtual signing with live cameras. They will just sign 100 photos, 200 photos, belts, clothes, whatever it is. And then this person, resells them or trades, depending on what you do. But I am trying to get a triple signed photo of Toxic Attraction. I hope to have it within the next 2 weeks, but that will be an upcoming giveaway. By the way, I got a really, really nice photo that someone sent me as a giveaway of AJ Brooks. It is one of the cutest photos that I've ever seen of AJ. It's autographed, it's got a COA, everything's authenticated. So we're going to give that away very, very soon. Some people have been telling me to do like a Twitter contest. I see what some people do. You got to follow me. You got to retweet me. You got to post a photo of your favorite wrestler. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to blow me. You got to go there. You got to walk my dog. You got to wipe my ass. There's somebody right now doing a contest for a $25 gift card. And I swear to God, the guy posted a photo, and there's like 10 things that you have to do to be part of this contest. Crazy. All right, so that's the deal. So you can enter next week live on the show. We're going to give away Liv Morgan photo and 2 Mox books. Then next week we'll figure something else out. All right. Before I open up this surprise box, I don't know what Brian Clark, Adam Baum sent me. I have an idea what it is, but we're going to open it live. By the way, if he's still tuning in, much love, my friend. And they got to get him here in the Northeast for an autograph signing. He was in Albany this weekend, but Albany is 6 hours away, and you all know I'm bird sitting, so there's no way I could get away right now for that long. But I want to bring this up. Very important. WWE released their pay-per-view schedule. That's too small. That's better. WWE released their pay-per-view schedule for 2022, and this is a pretty big deal, man. Oh, shit. I just realized something. And I don't even want to bring attention to it because I know people are going to start ragging me for it. But I noticed on the description for tonight's show, I wrote 2020 WWE schedule, not 2022. So I kind of screwed that up. I think I'm going to fix it right now while I'm talking to you. But WWE released their 2022 pay-per-view schedule. And for everybody that is on video right now, take a very good look at that lineup, because the most awesome thing about it, and yes, I fixed it on the description because I can only imagine in the comment section later, people put hashtag Mox. It's not 2020, dickhead. Hashtag Liv. Heads up, DT. It's 2022, not 2020. Look at all the Saturdays. Thank you, WWE. Thank you. We're getting a lot of Saturday pay-per-views next year. Now, a couple of things, because I try to answer questions from the future. I try to answer questions before you ask. And a lot of people, and for my friends who are audio only, I will read this in a moment. But a lot of you out there are going to look at the schedule right now and say, wait a minute. WWE Day 1, which will be January 1st in Atlanta, Georgia. Royal Rumble, which will be January 29th in St. Louis. WrestleMania, which will be Saturday, April 2nd and Sunday, April 3rd in Dallas. To be announced in May. We don't know the name of it yet. To be announced in June. May will be May 8th in Providence, Rhode Island. June will be June 5th in Chicago. Money in the Bank will be July 2nd in Las Vegas. SummerSlam will be July 30th in Nashville, Tennessee. Another pay-per-view to be announced September 3rd or September 4th, and we don't know the location yet. And Survivor Series, November 26th, Boston. That adds up to 9. Well, wait a minute. It's 12 months in a year. And they're doing Day 1 and the Royal Rumble in January. That's only 8 months. Where's the other 4 months? Well, I'll tell you right now. 2 of them are going to be Saudi Arabia. They don't know the dates yet. They don't know the times yet. But the thing is that October and August could very well, one of those 2 months will be Saudi Arabia. That's a fact. They could possibly do August and they could possibly do October. And I know that's awfully quick, but it's possible. But 2 of those will be Saudi Arabia. The other 2, they are contemplating about bringing back some pay-per-views, or old themes. So this is a big deal because, yes, WrestleMania will be a Saturday and a Sunday. But out of these 9 events, and WrestleMania, yes, one would be a Saturday, but out of these 9 events, only, if you leave out WrestleMania, only 1 is on a Sunday, unless they choose Sunday for the September pay-per-view. That is awesome, man. Now, let's also be clear that they are going to return with some NXT takeovers in 2022. Not as many as they've done in the past, but there's going to be a couple of NXT takeovers. Those will be on a Sunday. So this is your 2022 pay-per-view lineup right now. And I got to tell you, that is awesome. Now, I know the big controversy out of this is, AEW always does Labor Day. Look, man, you look at monthly, there's only 4 Saturdays in a month. And you look at the way the schedule is, you got to contact the buildings. You got to, it's not just, we're going to take Labor Day from them. No, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. AEW, let everybody know your 2022 schedule. I didn't know that holidays now are committed. I remember Survivor Series, the Thanksgiving tradition. You mean to tell me if AEW does a pay-per-view the weekend of Thanksgiving that suddenly they're stealing it? Come on, man. Seriously, nobody owns holidays. Nobody owns things. And by the way, I've been going to Mohegan Sun the last 3 years, Thanksgiving weekend. And trust me, I don't recall WWE pay-per-views taking place on those weekends. I think people just want to stir shit up just to stir shit up. But I love the fact that we're getting Saturday pay-per-views. Because if there's not a takeover the following day and not an AEW pay-per-view the following day, it's nice if you stay up late for a WWE pay-per-view on a Saturday and then Sunday you could just sleep late. you don't have to worry about staying up in the wee hours of the morning on a Sunday. So pretty cool. I think that's pretty damn cool. What else? Oh, shout out to Vindictive. I love this. She wrote this online today. This is pretty much social media right now towards Charlotte. That picture is so freaking spot on, Vindictive. So freaking spot on. Before we open this up, I want to get into one more thing for now. Then we'll bring up Impact Wrestling, quick results, unbox this cool gift. Then we'll do predictions for NXT Takeover. I think we'll be right at the 90-minute mark. I think we could start leaving. I'm sorry if anybody out there wanted me to hype up Veer tonight. Yeah, I would have loved to hype up Veer because they did that promo tonight that he's coming. He's coming to Raw. But thanks to Crazy Cruiserweight let me know to let you all know that before he goes to Raw, he had to lose tonight to Jaxson Ryker. Just think about that. They aired that promo tonight. He's coming to Raw, and now later this week, you're going to see him lose to Jaxson Ryker. By the way, Apollo Crews also beat John Morrison earlier today as well. So, Impact Wrestling. We had 5 title changes yesterday. I tell you, I don't know why Impact Wrestling does not show their live audience. If you watch that pay-per-view, you would swear there was only 3 rows of seats with fans in it. In Nevada, they actually had a pretty decent crowd. Now, yes, if you pay attention to ticket prices and pretty much, not making that much money over there. So, you get some people that'll go that maybe not even wrestling fans, but they did a decent job. But the problem is this, and I'm sorry for being a little bit of a wise ass to somebody earlier today, but they were working on bringing in Braun Strowman. They were working on bringing in Bronson Reed. They were working on bringing in some other names. There was rumors that Velveteen Dream was backstage, but what I was told, and a lot of other people, I don't even know who broke it first, but a lot of people reported it also, that a lot of surprises that Impact Wrestling, because this is their WrestleMania. Technically, some people may say Slammiversary and others, but to me, this is like, one of their WrestleManias. They were working on so many surprises, and the word going around is they fell through the last minute. Now, just think about that for a minute. You sign a deal. How does it fall through at the last minute? You think they wait until the morning in a pay-per-view? Oh, you think he'll come? You think he'll show? What was he going to do? Go to standby at the airport and hopefully they get on a flight to go to his place? The reason why these deals fell through is because after a year of an all-elite rub, to get 93,000 viewers on regular TV and to have a piss-poor early pay-per-view buy rate, advanced buy rate, people ordering the pay-per-view before the pay-per-view even, that day. When they saw how horrible those numbers were, that's how deals fall through. I used to co-run indie shows with the Mass Maniac. And when ticket sales are not all that spectacular, you try to work out deals like, hey, can we hold you off for the next show, and maybe give them a little something and, just say that, unfortunately, the person couldn't come in. They'll tell you why, but unfortunately the person could come in. It wasn't a lie. When things fall through, interpretation, when you only get 93,000 viewers and your advanced pay-per-view buy rate is piss poor, you get the demon. You get fucking Dale Torborg instead of Braun Strowman or Velveteen Dream or Bronson Reed or any of the other names. They're not, but Impact never announced them publicly. It doesn't mean nothing. They were working on bringing all these people in and they all fell through. How did they all fall through? They fell through because Impact Wrestling just decided, hey, man, we're going to pay that kind of money for 8,000 buys? So you get the goddamn demon. The fucking demon. The demon. Anyway. But the pay-per-view itself, I watched most of it. It was not all that bad, to be honest with you. I have the results written down because I don't want to miss any names. Jordan Grace over John Skyler, Crazy Steve, Madison Rain, Chelsea Green, and Falaba to win the Digital Media Championship. The Inspiration, the Iconics, they defeated the K to win the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. Trey Miguel over El Fantasmo and Steve Macklin to win the X Division Championship. All the Radicals have belts now. Heath Slater and Rhino over Violent by Design. Moose won a Call Your Shot gauntlet. And the participants were Chris Sabin, Rocky Romero, Madman Fulton, Rohit Raju, Tasha Steeles, Rachel Ellering, Savannah Evans, Johnny Swinger, Melina, The Demon, Brian Myers, Matt Cardona, the Laredo Kid, Sam Beal, Rich Swann, Ace Austin, Moose, Eddie Edwards, Alicia Edwards, and William Morrissey. You had the Good Brothers beat Chris Bay and Hikuleo, along with Finn Juice, to retain the Impact Tag Team Championships. Mickie James over Deonna Purrazzo to win the Knockouts Championship. Josh Alexander over Christian Cage to win the Impact Heavyweight Championship. But we thought Josh Alexander was going to win, but Moose earlier won the gauntlet and cashed in and defeated Josh Alexander. So now Moose is your new Impact Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. You know what's amazing about that? Remember the Saturday show? The last 5 minutes? The last 5 minutes we went off the air. We were talking about how horrible Impact Wrestling treated their roster in the last 12 months. They had AEW wrestlers as their champions. And we focused on Moose. And we were talking how Moose should have been the one to dethrone Kenny Omega on an Impact pay-per-view, not Kenny Omega dropping the title to Christian on a Rampage episode. I mean, they did not have faith in their own roster. And if AEW is now pulling away because there is no forbidden door, COVID was a forbidden door, not Tony Khan. If they said in October of last year, listen, for the next year, we'll do some talent exchange. We'll help each other. We'll help each other get through COVID for a year, and that's what we'll do. So now, Moose being heavyweight champion might be out of force than anything else, because if it is true that this agreement amongst the feds, the 5 families, that they were going to work together for a year, because remember when I told you many times this year, by the end of 2021, you watch how mysteriously that forbidden door is closed. If Tony Khan was doing this, why would he close the door? Suddenly, abruptly. All at a particular, it just so happened to be 1 year later, because the COVID was the forbidden door. So now it almost feels like Moose, by default, had to be heavyweight champion, because now they can't just keep it on AEW wrestler anymore. So I hope Moose runs with it, man. Moose should have got that belt many months ago. Many months ago. I agree with your Rams fan. We want to keep the show a little bit more PG from now on, but there's only one area that we consider the forbidden door, and yeah, she's sleeping inside. The forbidden door. Think Caligula. That's probably the best way I could put it. So, but look, I'll say this. Nice to see Mickie James win. She could still go. I know Crazy Cruiserweight is flipping right now, but if you watched the match yesterday, it was fine. It was fine. I don't know if Mickie James will hold the belt all that long, but it's fine. The Inspiration, the Iconics, they didn't do bad yesterday. Yeah, a lot of people think it's to get a buzz. Look, when you have 93,000 viewers, you got to do something. And they worked their asses off yesterday. The match was not bad. So I'm willing to keep an open mind. And you know what? I know we criticized, their in-ring wrestling ability, especially Billie Kay, more than anything. In fact, I think it was only Billie Kay. But the thing is, maybe getting let go from the WWE and thinking that she was going to be split from a partner may have been the sign that she had to really up it a notch. So we will see. We will see. All right. That's done. I think we're all done with that. Yeah, we still got to do Halloween Havoc, but we're not at 90 minutes yet. So far, I think we're on pretty good schedule. Let's open this up. Ryan Clark, Adam Bomb. Look, have we broken bread together? No. But I am very proud to call him a friend, extended friend of the family. And I support him. Mish has said, and I could pull up episodes from 6-7 years ago when Mish used to say that Adam Bomb was his favorite wrestler growing up. The one thing that I love about this man, and I say this about others, and anybody that's been following my shit going back to 1997, when I had the opportunity to work for ECW for a little bit, and I used to go backstage, I used to say this 1 trillion times over. When we talked about XPW on Thursday, and I told you some backstage private stories, the one common denominator is you treat wrestlers, people you become friendly with, you meet, treat them like regular people. Of course, you respect them and you appreciate what they've done, and, you compliment them, but you want to treat them like you would treat like a friend or anybody else. People like to be treated, like, not saying a regular person, but, anybody that I ever came across, nice casual conversation, friendly conversation. Unfortunately, we had to revisit, the long friendship I had with Daphne, which was over 20 years. And she tragically passed earlier this year. And looking at all those letters and being able to tell her stories, it's because a lot of people that I come across in wrestling, to me, I look at them as just everyday people. I know they're not, and I know they're larger than life, and they have done so much for us, for our escape as wrestling fans all throughout our lives. But I try to separate the two. Because, like I said, you see online, even with the Tony Khan stuff, people treating this guy like an ultimate god. I guarantee you, deep down inside, Tony Khan probably enjoys more when people just act and talk to him like a regular person, not trying to overly gush and calling him, it feels good. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure it feels good to him. But anyway, so he sent me this, and, I know that he knew that we were going to do some contests, but I am going to pull this open. And as I'm doing this, it's like ripping the tracking number off. So can't show the front of this anymore. But we have compromised the box. And I still can't see what it is, but okay. All right. Wow, this is nice. This is freaking nice, man. I got to tell you all a story. I kind of feel guilty now for getting this from him. I'll show you what it is in a minute. Karrion Kross, friend of the family. It's been supporting him for a long time. No secret, he enjoyed tuning into my shows when I used to do DTKC. He loved our shows before he even got into wrestling. And when WWE was auctioning off the first ever Karrion Kross signed figure, number 1, first ever signed, I said, there's no way that I was going to not win that auction. After all of his support for what we do, I said, I got to own the first ever signed figure. It's labeled number 1, first ever signed. And I won it. Then Scarlett's figure is up. First ever signed figure by Scarlett. And I'm like, I can't separate these two. Now they're engaged, but I can't separate these two. I got to win the first ever Scarlett also. And yeah, I charged it, but I won both figures. So I have inside the first ever WWE autograph figures by Carrying Cross his scarf. First autograph. So Adam Bomb, Brian Clark, starting to sell the footballs, as you can see back behind me, the bombs and the goggles. And I got a couple to give away, and I got one for myself. He sent me a few extra things to it, and I joked on the show. I opened it up, and I said, number 56, 34, excuse me. Number 34 out of 100, and I want number 1. I was saying as a joke, he explained to me that his nephew that didn't get to see him when he was a wrestler, his nephew, I don't even think was born yet. He wanted his nephew to have the first one, number 1. And I told him privately, I said, I was just kidding around. I said, but that's awesome, man. Got to think about family before anything else, especially at the end of the day. Family is, what you need. Maybe not always family by blood, but family like all of you, people you communicate with online. That's your family too. Some of you here are my extended family. So I thought that was awesome. He just sent me 2 autographed micro brawlers. And if you look at them closely, it is number 1 and number 2. And if you look at the back of them, they're autographed on the back also. Number 1 and number 2. So the autographed micro brawlers that are going to be going on sale, he sent me serial number 1 and serial number 2. I can't thank you enough for this. I kind of feel, well, I'm sure I'll repay it by getting a couple of more goggles to give away on the shows, but I didn't buy these. He just said to me, he's like, send me your address. I want to send you something. And he wanted to send some for Mish. Now, I already told Mish. I said, Mish, whatever he sends me, if there's 2, I'm going to give you one. I'm going to say this publicly on the show now, and I don't think he will be upset when I say this, but again, if you look at these, the number 1 and number 2. Since Mish, even though that bastard called in sick today, since Mish, his number 1 favorite growing up was Adam Bomb. I'm not saying that he wasn't one of my favorites too, but I'm not going to lie and say, oh, you were the greatest, my favorite. I was a Hulkamaniac. And then I got into ECW. So that's what happened. But since Mish always loved Adam Bomb, that was his favorite. He thought the world was going to come to an end and Adam Bomb was going to be responsible for it. Adam Bomb wasn't content of just ruining the career of a champion. He wanted to end the world. I'm going to send Mish number 1. I'm going to send Mish number 1. I will keep number 2. So that's pretty awesome, man. Mark this. You can't put hashtag live in the chat room. It's in the comment section. There's no way for me to do a contest and pull it from the chat room randomly. So thank you, Brian, for your generosity. That was pretty awesome. But I feel bad because almost like I'm just saying like, oh, your nephew should have got this one. But that was cool, man. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. Let's talk Halloween Havoc. And we're going to wrap it up because we're right around 90 minutes. So let's wrap it up. I want to be right around that. I want to stick to that. It's going to take a little while for me to get used to it. But like I said, something big is going to be going down very, very soon. Trust me, I wouldn't blow smoke up your asses. So I got to get used to this. I have to. So, all right, Halloween Havoc. Again, only 5 matches. So let's talk about it. First off, Solo Sikoa. That is the brother of Jey Uso. If you don't know his real name, Sefa Fatu. They have the towel over his head because they've dyed his hair blonde. And he will be coming in, and I don't think they're going to mention that he's related to the Usos. I know a lot of you wanted to see him go right to the bloodline. But honestly, when I thought about it, to me, it doesn't make sense. Because why should he be in the bloodline right now? When the Usos have gold and Roman Reigns have gold, what was he going to do? Become the U.S. champion? I don't see that. So I think right now, let him get his feet wet in WWE by going in NXT. Fans will know who he is, even though they dyed his hair blonde. And I don't know who he's facing tomorrow. No matter who he faces, you know he's getting the win. So tomorrow will be his NXT debut match. Now, next. Oh, actually, yeah, okay. I pulled the photo too. Did you wanted to see what he looked like? With his normal looking hair. MSK versus Imperium. In my opinion, you don't take the tag titles off of MSK right now. I know if you really look at it, MSK doesn't seem like they're doing, any momentum as far as NXT ratings go, but MSK are extremely talented. They have so many years ahead of them in their career. There's no reason to rush them and bring them to the main roster. They've been doing a good job holding those tag titles. And I personally think Imperium is not going to be a bigger draw, as tag champs than MSK. So I say MSK keeps the championships. Next on the list, Mandy Rose versus Raquel Gonzalez. Mandy Rose has, and we said this before she went to NXT, she has definitely worked on her in-ring work. And she's pretty good. She's pretty good. Totally transformed her character. Her hair is dark now. She is now with JC Jane and Gigi Dolan, Toxic Attraction. They are on so much momentum right now, and I still feel that Mandy Rose is getting the push that Frankie Monet was supposed to get. I think Frankie Monet, ruining the Robert Stone brand. I think Frankie Monet and her group was probably supposed to be in this position right now. And yes, I know Frankie Monet got a title shot already, but to me, that just felt like, thrown in there for the sake of throwing it in there. I think Mandy Rose may win this. I have nothing against Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Gonzalez's title reign has not been very good. It's not her fault. But to me, everything about Raquel Gonzalez that got her to the dance is not the Raquel Gonzalez that we have while she is at the dance. There's just something about her. It's more gimmick than anything else. And something is missing dearly, and it's not Dakota Kai. They basically turned her more into a gimmick than anything else. The only problem is if Raquel Gonzalez loses that title tomorrow, what do you do with Raquel Gonzalez after this? You just had the draft. If you were going to bring Raquel Gonzalez to the main roster, she probably should have lost the title the pay-per-view before. I just don't know what you do with Raquel Gonzalez after tomorrow if she loses that belt. So it would not surprise me if she keeps it. And my gut feeling is that she does keep it. But in a way, I think somebody from Toxic Attraction needs to have gold tomorrow. And out of everyone, I feel Mandy Rose should be the one to get it. So next, the tag titles. Now, I know a lot of you out there are thinking that Toxic Attraction could run the table and win all these championships tomorrow. What do you do then with Io Shirai more than anything else? I try to look one step ahead. And right now, Toxic Attraction is still fairly new. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't get the tag titles. I think it's just a little bit too soon. I would love Toxic Attraction to win. I feel bad for Indy Hartwell because it just feels like a makeshift team. And I think they just don't know who else to put in there right now. But I think Io Shirai and Zoe Stark will retain. Again, I would not have a problem if Toxic Attraction runs the table and all end up with gold. I just think that's a little too soon. remember, this is developmental now. Developing. It's not about hot-shotting title victories to get a little buzz online. This is about development. And I think right now you keep those tag titles on Zoe Stark and Io Shirai. Just my opinion. The main event tomorrow, Bron Breakker versus Tommaso Ciampa. Will Harlan show up? Will Joe Gacy show up? I tell you, I'm with all of you out there that Bron Breakker is going to be a major, major, major star in the future. When you understand how young in his career that he is, and I've reminded everyone out there that just because he didn't work the indie circuit doesn't mean that he hasn't wrestled in the ring with his dad and his uncle and other wrestlers throughout the years growing up. So it's not like he's just learning now how to wrestle. But as much as I want to see Bron Breakker be a champion, I think it's a little too soon. I think Tommaso Ciampa keeps that title. And I think the deflection will not be Chucky. I don't know what the hell we're going to do with that. We'll probably see Chucky interact with LA Knight or something stupid. But I think Bron Breakker, you take your time. Again, there's going to be a lot of people online. They're going to say, "Oh, what a stupid decision. They kept it on Ciampa. They don't think this guy is money right now." No, NXT is developmental. They're trying to change NXT and make it hot shot for, now, the instant hit, the instant satisfaction. No, I think you wait. I think Tommaso Ciampa retains, and maybe to deflect quickly that Bron lost, I think you have Harlan and Joe Gacy go out there. And maybe Harlan chokes out Ciampa and they go off the air with that. So that's my idea. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that's what I'm going with. Now, the mystery person. What mystery person will be appearing? What mystery person will be appearing? Now, I'm going to take this off the screen for a minute. Now I'm going to enlarge it. These are the 3 vignettes. And if you saw the last one, in the hole was an old TV. In the hole was a torn NXT TakeOver War Games. And in the hole was like a deck of cards. And I tell you, I look at the third picture, and to me, that figure looks like Ember Moon. I don't know. It looks like a woman. The physique reminds me of Ember Moon. I originally thought it was going to be Elias. Remember, Elias was with the shovel and was burning all his stuff, and maybe him with the shovel was, digging something out. I originally thought Elias, and then I thought, maybe they'll do something different with Cameron Grimes. Maybe they'll do something different with Cameron Grimes, but believe me when I tell you, it ain't no way Cameron Grimes has hips like that. So I don't know, man. I got this weird feeling. Ember Moon comes to mind. Ember Moon. I'm probably wrong. I don't think it's Dakota Kai. I don't know why you would do that. Like, why? Why would Dakota Kai be like digging and throwing away? But then again, like, why would Ember Moon be throwing away like a deck of cards and a crutch? But then again, Ember Moon, the crutch might be a symbol. Doesn't mean an injury. The crutch could be a symbol. So I'm taking a wild guess. I'm going to go with Ember Moon. And again, I'm probably wrong, but we will see. It's not going to be any AEW people. Some people are saying Scarlett. I don't think so. I don't think so, man, because, the stuff that I was told as far as Scarlett's future, this is nowhere near. I mean, sure, WWE could change their mind, but this is nowhere near what they were planning on doing. So, no, I don't think it's Scarlett. But we will see. We will see, everybody. We'll know tomorrow. So with that said, I'm going to jet out of here. All right, 10 minutes over. But, we had some great discussion tonight. Spur in a moment. I know we didn't do calls because I had to overload the show with a lot of other things since Mish was not going to be on tonight. But remember, later this week, Thursday, I will definitely be taking calls. We will definitely be keeping the Q&A open. This week, I think I'm going to take a break from streaming some retro wrestling stuff. We did it a couple of weeks in a row. So I think Thursday we'll just keep it to live stream, live Q&A and calls. So, yeah, everyone, before we jet out of here, I would greatly appreciate it. Trust me. If you could hit that like button, it helps me out and it helps the show out. It tells YouTube that you like the show and they'll recommend it to others. So if you could do that for me on the way out, that would be awesome. And if you are part of our Patreon family, tomorrow night is Breakfast Soup Off the Cuff. So Mish and I will be together tomorrow. We'll talk a little Halloween Havoc. We'll do the finals of the horror film tournament. We'll do some live chat with everybody, and we'll discuss what the next tournament will be. Some of you out there have given us some great ideas. We'll share it with everybody tomorrow. But off the cuff means nothing is planned in advance. Wherever the shows go, they go. And sometimes those end up being like the funniest shows of them all. And if you are not around tomorrow, join me here Wednesday. Wednesday, I will be doing a quick recap of NXT TakeOver. I will discuss AEW Dynamite. We will also have Dynamite's ratings, obviously. So we'll see how they did on Saturday. I don't care what the number is. They're not losing their viewers. They're all going to be back on Wednesday. So whatever the number is, doesn't faze me at all. But we will talk about it. And anything else that breaks non-Raw or SmackDown between now and Wednesday. So everyone, I hope you have a great night. Much love as always, and you all be well. So take care, and good night, everybody. All the best. Much love.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.